Guys, I don't think I've actually done a Facebook Live in quite some time that wasn't our normal like lunch and learn or something with Business Growth Network on Friday. And while I did morning tea with Jenna for a while, it was very hard to keep it consistent because that required me putting on makeup or at least getting out of my jammies each morning. So I'm doing one today to keep myself on track and make sure I stay on board with the task. But moving forward, I know most of you are familiar with my daily questions in the morning, and this was something I started about almost exactly 1 year ago, I think February or March timeframe, and it was to see and kind of test out the personal page Facebook algorithm, and it really was really amazing at what something as simple as one simple question can do for your social life, for building relationships, for certainly gaming the Facebook algorithm every single day. And I know a lot of you participated. I think the one that by far, whether you knew it or not, or one of these was, I think the best one got over 128 comments, and it was, who would you rather battle in a fight, a werewolf, a vampire, or a werewolf? And you want to talk about an incomplete argument. We're going to have an argument on Facebook. That was the best one to have. Arguing, are we talking World War Z zombies or are we talking Walking Dead zombies? Because apparently it totally matters. But that did wonderful. But now that I've seen that particular tactic works, I'd like to hone it down to better. And while arguing over zombies is really cool and was a lot of fun, and I really appreciated all the interesting commentary back and forth from everybody. And I think today's was, how long have you been on vacation? What would you do with 2 weeks on vacation? How many countries? I'd like to start narrowing it down and focusing it just like I would tell my other business owners to something that matters, that's more specific to my mission. And the last week has been interesting with some of the conversations that have been had. I've been super busy, but that mission's gotten a lot more clear. So I'm going to, I got some posts from Donnie Boyven, and I'll tag him here from his, That's Not How You Journal, Jackass, his free download. And there was 50 questions there that I'm going to pull from. I know my partner with Business Growth Network, David, he has a bunch that we're going to be pulling in, and then I'm making some that are custom for me and kind of off Donnie's idea of journaling. I know I tell everyone else to document their business and build those processes, but sometimes you don't know what to document, right? And you don't know where you're at. And so I think this journaling concept in that direction will be really good at trying to find the things that are missing with random questions, right? And putting them all into, for me, I will be probably doing it right here in Facebook and maybe transferring them and the pieces that kind of relate together all into one space in like an Evernote or something like that can be worked with, and see what we can put together for my own business just by answering these little bitty questions. So Donnie had a really great concept with journaling, asking one question to get you started. And I'm going to be switching my daily questions away from something that, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't. I love zombies and vampires just like everybody else. But let's make it more focused on, your vision going forward, whether you're a business owner or you're an employee or you have dreams of, having a more flexible schedule. Just because I think it's really an important and a big reason that kind of mission has changed this past week, as I'm just been amazed at some of the conversations that have happened in some of my groups, and I completely understand that certain groups are more volatile. So while I was training down, honing my skills as a digital marketer, working on Facebook groups and how to build up groups to make more money for our businesses that we work with, I noticed my phone blowing up in Facebook and going zzz, 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 back and forth. Someone's commenting on a post you're tagged in or something like that. And then I had training on the next Wednesday, so I was at my own office training business owners, and I'm locked in. I'm talking about client avatars and unique selling propositions and building 30-second proposals. The last thing I'm going to spend that time doing when I've got a room full of 8 business owners is checking Facebook, right? So again, I just bzz, 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 and I have no idea what's going on. So I think by Thursday, I finally chimed in and went over just to read and was just amazed. Apparently, a friend of mine, Brittany, had posted something about how if a man is in a room with a bunch of women, he's excited. And if a woman's in a room with a bunch of men, only men, she's scared. And he, completely commented, and rightfully so. Hi, John. I can see him joining in now. That, I go in rooms full of men all the time and I'm not scared. And was like the victim mentality and victimhood being shown here, was uncalled for. And I think like 40 women or however many just piled on, going back and forth. I'm like, how dare you say it? You don't know what it's like to be a woman. And describing in detail sometimes, the different things that they've been through. So I don't want to get, because it's a very downer type subject, but there's a lot of things that happen to women over the years that is just, it's amazing, and it's really sad. And I get where he got defensive. We'll use that word, defensive, because I think all the good guys in the world are a little tired of being beat up because of all the few really shitty guys in the world, right? And on the other side, you have the women who are like, I'm scared, and I'm going to check under my car and in the back seat and lock my doors 3 times. And I'm going to spend a ton of money, even though I can't afford it, to live in a great neighborhood that has less issues. I just had a conversation with my daughter, who's going to be working at the mall. And I felt the need to explain to her, like, you're going to be in the mall. Boys, older men, they're going to come in and they might talk to you inappropriately. They're going to touch your shoulder a little too intimately, get into your face a little too intimately. And I feel sad having that conversation with her. But guys, if you happen to be on here, it's not a victim problem. And in that particular conversation, you had the girls not listening to him and him not listening to her. When women share stories, it's not a victimhood mentality. We're commensurating, because that's what women do. I share my story, you share your story, and we all kind of get to pull it together, and we understand where everyone's coming from, and we can understand and empathize, and that stuff chicks do, right? You're both right. Girls, don't be victims, and guys, you've got to step back and realize, it's not personal, right? We just know what we've been through, and we're opting not to be victims by acknowledging what can happen to us and what does happen to so many women. That's not victimhood. That's trying not to be a victim. Then Donnie actually recommended me join a vetrepreneur group, and it's got 2 or 3 admins, I think 2. Both of them are using it exactly the way we were going over and learning how to use them better at Digital Marketer last Tuesday. I took Paula with me, and she was so excited, and we're learning how to use it as a awareness and engagement stage, an excite stage, and for people that are promoting or affiliates. It's obviously they're using it as a business tool to put people in their own funnel, and that's okay. I completely understand. And if you're going to pull together a bunch of vetpreneurs and vet entrepreneurs together, that's awesome in itself, and everyone kind of does their own thing and asks questions. However, and just since I've joined, and this is nothing against Donnie for putting me in there, or we'll say anybody specific inside there, but I did notice a theme start to pop up very quickly. One, it's run by someone who's in PR and understands the power of a story, we'll say, right? And leveraging some of the stories that are being had in the news or what's going on. So one person says, stop sending those inappropriate pictures and hitting on the girls in here and making them feel uncomfortable, and it starts a line of conversation. Well, again, whenever these things that girls start chiming in, it's not that a girl's ever received a dick pic in there or an inappropriate conversation, but then they start sharing the other stories or why we need more female role models. And let's go to that female role model. I find that a lot of females don't play as big, and that's really sad. I feel like maybe guys play big because they have to, it's in their genes, or maybe it's just a competitive thing because they're traditionally expected to be the breadwinners in the family. But I see a lot of women with a lot of confidence issues. I see a lot of women who get beat down by men verbally and emotionally that just are afraid to put themselves out there. They're afraid to be seen without makeup. I did that last week, by the way. I called out like 3 different guys. It's just me not wearing makeup. It's okay. But they don't want to play big, so that becomes a problem. They get put in situations that are not safe for them. I know more than a few women several women, when I'm in like the different mom groups, with the Frisco moms or the McKinney mom groups, Plano moms, I'm in 3. pretty much on a daily basis, there's a woman out there who's in a very physically abusive relationship, and she's stuck because she has kids and he's the breadwinner and she's a stay-at-home mom, or she doesn't make enough either way to keep them in a good neighborhood. And all I can think of is how amazingly sad is that a mom is just thinking, if I just had $100 extra a month, or if I could just make $2,000 a month, I could leave this abusive guy. If I had some kind of backbone, or not backbone, I didn't mean that Freudian probably, but it's some kind of support where I could take care of my kids, I could leave this abusive situation. And while it's really easy for people that are not in that situation to say, yeah, thanks, David. Why are you wearing makeup? Because I've been filming for lead generation all day with Paula. And thank you, Mercedes. But it's heartbreaking. And when you just say, oh, well, there's this shelter, it's really not that simple. One, do you want to move your 3 kids into a shelter? No. Nobody wants to do that. And when you say, oh, they'll just give you a place, no, it's never that simple. And if there's 10 women being abused in the area and 3 are being abused so bad that they're in the hospital for serious damage, those 3 get dibs. And once you make the decision to leave, whether or to go to one of these shelters, the decision's been made. Like, there's no going back on a lot of these things. And if you don't get in and your very abusive husband finds out, it's just going to get more ugly. And every one of these women knows how bad it can get. They know personally all the different things that can happen, and whether it's happening because the guy is drinking or drugs or gaming or depressed, it really doesn't matter why, it just happens. So back to like that vetrepreneur, so everyone's sharing their stories, and I'll be damned, I'm gonna try not to curse, if men weren't chiming in, calling women victims for sharing their story. If a particular person didn't aim me out several times saying that me wanting to support stay-at-home moms who are in very bad situations is unfair and I should leave them alone. Like, completely not understanding that the goal is not saying I'm not a feminism. It's not personal to anybody who is. I can't get on board with their general statements. If a stay-at-home mom wants to stay at home, she should be able to stay at home, and that's perfectly fine. But at the point that a man is beating her and she can't leave because of money, there's a problem. So mission number 1 is those women. I never want any woman, a mom especially, who needs money to ever be in that position. I can't just give loads of money away. That's not working. And there's companies who do that already, or nonprofits. And then these guys come back and they are saying that by merely saying that there needs to be more female role models, by me wanting to promote that idea, for me wanting to say that there's more female independent movies where the female is the star, there's a female action star, there's a female protagonist lead, that merely by doing that, it is a victim mentality. Guys, we don't hate you at all. We love you. This is why we marry you. However, there are just not enough female role models, period, especially where they share the entire screen. Like the idea of Wonder Woman, why did it succeed so much? Because there's not a bunch of superhero movies where the female is the lead. Thanks, Sean. There's not books where females are the lead, especially not where they're the only ones. Yeah, there's a few. I don't want to get into an argument here, but there's videos online where somebody literally goes to the library and takes all the ones where the male is the dominant protagonist, and there's like hardly no books left. There's nothing victimhood about saying that there should be more females standing up and saying that it's okay to be independent and strong and do things on your own, and that you don't have to wait for your knight in shining armor, a boy to come. You need a what, baby? You can come over here. Come here with your grapes. Come on over, say hi. This right here. Look at this, Precious. Wouldn't it be nice for more moms to be able to work, but also go to the plays? So you have, here. This little princess who's coughing up her grapes, she had a show on Friday. And because of the nature of me having my own business, she had off that day, so I had to stay with her. So I got to go to, look at you, coffee, you're a faker. I got to go to her show and see her
And
sing.
I got to cold.
There you go. And sing Waka Waka. Can you Waka Waka? With, celebrating hers was the continent of Africa at the Musical Arts Schoolhouse with all her friends.
Okay, I have this, please.
And at Christmas time, they did the Nutcracker, and my son, I can get to eat lunch with him. For women who need that extra money, or they need to be able to be at home with the kids and make money, that's my mission now. So right now, with Warfare Marketing, my goal is to, we're trying to get an office space right now.
Trying to get artwork done.
Yeah, artwork done. Here, take this and run. You're a distraction.
I know
and I bribe children. But to create, thank you, Shaw. That's like real mompreneur, isn't it? So we're trying to get an office space, and it's not nearly as easy as I thought it was. Because if I want to be able to hire as many moms as possible, so that never do MLM again, or something that, that is just, they have to, put up front all this money with no return, or they have to go get hired by some company where, their entire future is in the hands of some employer, to hire and fire. There was a lady on here, I don't want to call her out. She had a job and the kid got sick. And basically the employer said, if you miss any more days, you're fired and your job is gone. And she's looking for a new job now. To be able to bring those women in and say, okay, if your kid's in school Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're going to have, and I just learned this, I was watching a TED Talk, but I love the acronym, ROWE, ROWE, a results-only work environment. So whenever I have or bring on a new mom, or even like a young person who's looking for a career, to be able to put them inside a system that I know works, that I know brings in, that closes 5%. And for cold leads, 5% is really awesome. She's fine. You gonna come over here and join? Come here. You can share. Pour it into 2 cups.
Why not? Hey.
First he joined and then he joined. Okay, y'all go that way with it.
Come here.
That's so funny.
Come on.
They have to split the Diet Coke. But to give them a system, and today I worked all day with Paula refining that system, and I'm trying to build the training. I got it from Mike Archie first, his bid machine, but for me, I found that there's a lot of different problems. Very funny, right? That's what it's like to be a mom and work. But his bid machine is awesome. We just found that there's some problems with it, and he didn't do it on a continuous basis because he didn't have to. He only wanted to dominate one niche, and that was fitness. If I have 20 women working that we're all working together, Bella's a riot, and John goes back and forth. If I have 20 women, they can't all have a different niche completely, because I don't want everyone stepping on each other's toes, and I want everyone to know that's their thing, right? So redoing it so everyone can have their niche and providing the support documents for it. But one, if you know women who don't mind being on a commission-only sales space to start, I'm going to start bringing those on, and I think it'll be one of those that's 90 days. And if you close 12, which, what do we say 12 is? 5 makes $3,600 a month. So bringing on 12, do the math, 12 times 7, 20. Then I can know that I can feel safe in bringing them on as a full sales employee with like a bottom line. But if you see me doing things, or I'm sharing posts from clients, or I look nuts, if I'm not wearing makeup, if I'm tired, if I'm exhausted, it's because there is a mission that's very clear. And if you want to make me cry, having me talk about it, knowing if I start recounting in my head those stories of all the different women I've heard over the couple of last years, and somewhere recently that were just tremendously terrible, it's because now that the mission is bigger, and it's not just about me, and it's not just about my business, how much money I'm making, or what I'm doing with that money, even though I really only actually keep enough money myself to pay for Bella's tuition. It's because it's scary, the thought of not completing it. There's too many women who spend so much money building a small business that fails, because as a solopreneur trying to manage operations and finances, and the actual, art of whatever you're doing, it just doesn't work. There's just too much going on, and you've got to pay for CRMs and applications and websites, and social media has to be done. And in addition to operations, it's just overwhelming.
Mommy, Dad's not seeing the code.
Okay, well then go ask him, please.
Hey,
Give him a cup.
Zunda.
Take him over there and say, pour some. There's my example right there, right? But I want to create a space so no other woman has to do that. And sometimes it will get very emotional, and we'll be throwing lots of darts at the board to get it figured out. So if I'm a mess, you know why. If you know any women who would like to support in this kind of thing that specifically support the business owner, we're going to be putting together kind of a last-minute women's summit, women-only speakers. Sorry, David and Sean, I know y'all participated last time. But it's just a matter of pushing women out there, and I'm just a little bit fed up of men calling it victimhood when we're just trying to figure out how to go about our lives without being raped, beat, attacked, molested, have guys grab our boobs, take pictures of our boobs, all the just horrific things that women have to deal with. So in any way you can help, like I said, if you support business owners or salespeople, so I know Paula is going to be focusing on commercial real estate broker owners as well as the people under them. Morgan wants to focus on real estate agents, and I think we might be doing some attorneys just because I'm a hard ass and I don't mind arguing with attorneys and dealing with them as clients. But we'd love to bring on more women, and I'd like to get to a point where I know I can guarantee you guys some income. So in the next few days, I'll be doing those new posts with David Roberts stuff and Donnie Boyven, and we'll have some stuff. And if we get some more girls in the mix, I'll make them some cards too so they can use on social media. And maybe at the end, we'll put them all into a big book where it's easy to read so you can see like the history of how things change over 1 year. And if you see one of those posts, do me a favor and go ahead and comment and put some thought into it. Spend 5 minutes yourself journaling as a comment out in public where people can see it and you're held accountable for what you post, and so that you have it in your head. And then, like I said, go ahead and copy it and put it over into Evernote or Google Drive or a Word doc or something, so you can start documenting your own vision, your own journey, your own business, your own systems, whatever it is that you decide to document. Thank you for the people. I wasn't actually expecting people to join, but it looks like we had quite a few. And just really glad to see you all, and hold me accountable too. If you see me slacking off or playing video games, tell me to get back to work and get shit done. Bye.